Before we begin, yes, I know that I'm late to the party, but I really wanted to spend some time with the game and really get to reflect upon what I've played and how I really felt about it. So let's go! The Evil Within 2 was developed by Tango Gameworks and published by Bethesda Softworks, and it was released for PS4, Xbox One, and the PC on October 13th, 2017. The Evil Within 2 is the second installment in the series of The Evil Within. The first game was released back in 2014. The first thing to note in The Evil Within 2 is that it's for current gen only, which means it doesn't have to be dragged down by both the PS3 and the Xbox 360. The Evil Within takes place sometime after the first one. I don't know if they actually refers to how long it's been, but it's at least after the first one, seeing how they keep referring to the first one in past tense. You're still controlling Sebastian Castellanos and are thrown into the world of STEM, as in the first one. The major difference this time around is that Sebastian knows that he is in STEM, so all the weird shit happening throughout the game makes sense from the get-go. You are informed by Kidman, also a returning character, that your daughter isn't dead after all, which you are previously led to believe because of a house fire in which you could never get to your daughter in time. Kidman says that she is trapped inside the world of STEM and that she needs your help to get her out. You are introduced to a company called Mobius, who are trying to use the power of STEM to make a world in peace and harmony. Basically, they're trying to make a world inside someone's mind that doesn't have the troubles of the outside world. They call the city and the world Union.
Get it? Because there is a Bozulu.
You quickly discover that something's not right in Union. The city has turned to utter chaos, but you are still determined to find your daughter. The first thing that surprised me straight off the bat was that this game is actually trying to develop some story straight away. The first couple of chapters there is no fighting whatsoever. You're just wandering around while people are either talking to you or with you. After the first couple of chapters comes the second surprise. It turns out that Union can be explored as you see fit. There are side missions, various small things that can be tracked, and just general exploring. I was not expecting this from a survival horror title. This is a welcome change to an already so established formula. There is, however, negative things about the formula as well. When you're thrown into an open world like this, the urgency of rescuing your daughter and the whole story part of the game gets kinda lost. The immersion is quickly broken when you have the main character thinking, I need to find my daughter. She's in oh, an ammo pouch 100 meters away. I guess my daughter can wait. But for the gameplay aspect of the game, this is a welcome addition to the title. The side quests and exploring leads to an opportunity to get better loot, upgrades, etc. for the story mode. If you do side quests, you will have less trouble through the story mode. My biggest issue with the open world aspect of the game is the fact that it does seem like the enemies respawn after a certain amount of time, which can make it sort of useless to kill a lot of enemies, unless you want to farm green gel. This game introduces you to a crafting system and a different upgrading system to your weaponry. You can collect herbs, gunpowder, and other different things, which you can also use to craft ammo and medical supplies. This system feels somewhat like the one in The Last of Us. You can choose if you want to craft things at a workbench or in the field. If you choose to do it in the field, it will cost you more supplies. The upgrading system is fine, but I would like something more special for the weapons. It's just a standard plus firepower, plus reloading speed, plus fire rate, etc., with the exception of the crossbow. The crossbow has some cool features at the very end of each upgrading tree. Like the normal crossbow arrows, called the harpoon bolt, gets flame arrows if you upgrade it to its full potential. I would also like there to be more conserving of your ammo and supplies. In the first part of the game, at times you really feel like you have to make every bullet count, where in the later parts they throw ammo at you. Much like the first game, the green gel returns. This operates as a main source of upgrading your character. It can be used to upgrade your health, stamina gauge, aiming accuracy, melee attacks, and so on. I think it's after the third chapter the story begins to take form. The game doesn't evolve so much around you running around in the open in Union. The game takes you more in a direction of the first game, which is also fine. I find myself to be more invested in the gameplay itself than the story up until that point. This is where the story started to grip me. I never wanted to put down the controller after this point. I just wanted to play it all the way through, just to see how it ended. We can talk more in detail about the story, my likes and dislikes in another video. But I will say that I found the story to be much stronger in this game than in the previous one. There are only few sections here and there where I found the story elements or the writing to be utter nonsense or just poorly done. But like I said, we can talk about that in another video. I think the biggest issue when it comes to the story is a lot of the side characters are very bland or boring. They have the simplest of motives or none at all. They just sort of go with the flow because it drives things forward. And of course it doesn't help that the voice acting is atrocious at times. But other than that, I think the story is very good. There are actually a lot of emotions connected to the story this time. Sadness, loss, redemption, anger, fear, etc, etc. But the big question is, how does the game feel and how does it play? Well, it's a lot like the new Resident Evil titles, excluding Resident Evil 7. And of course it's a lot like the previous one as well. You have the over-the-shoulder camera and the aiming is a lot like those games as well. You have a crosshair or laser, which you can move around freely with the right stick or mouse. You have separate buttons for aiming, melee, general use and picking up things, reloading, etc. You also have a stealth system, which feels more fine-tuned this time around. Even though it's very hard to use, because the enemies have a more unpredictable pattern, at least at times. Overall, the game feels good and it looks good. The shooting range also returns in this game. It's much like the one in Resident Evil 4, except here you have a difficulty level from the get-go. The game tells you the difficulty level and how many points you need for each reward. This game also introduces a new game mode, which is called Chain Shooting Thingy? Here you are supposed to shoot as many of the connected blocks of the same color. The bigger the connection, the bigger the points. It's really addicting and fun, and I found myself spending a lot of time with these. The first third or so of the game feels and looks very creepy. Like most modern horror titles, it loses its scariness after a while, but it's fine. The later parts of the game is more based around the story, and it really shines towards the end. The first part of the game builds up a really good scary feel, where the later parts builds up a solid story. The soundtrack helps as well, where some of the tracks are really good, especially towards the end. And of course, who can forget the awesome song from the trailer called Ordinary World, which returns in the credits. After the entire thing is over, you can start again on New Game Plus. Certain things will carry over to your new playthrough, and you have the option to start a whole new game on a higher difficulty, which is only unlocked by beating the game. So if you want to play the whole thing again, but not start over when it comes to upgrades, weapons and gel, you can. Overall, The Evil Within 2 is a very good game, which offers a lot for gamers who are looking for some new survival horror to play. The game isn't without its flaws, but then again, which game is? With a solid story, a good foundation when it comes to gameplay, a spooky feel, and a lot of different things to explore, there's no reason not to play The Evil Within 2 if you're a fan of the genre. There are minor downsides, like the writing for some, almost all, of the side characters, immersion breaking at times, and a bit bland upgrading system, but it's minor things compared to the big picture. So, at the end of the review, I thought we could ask ourselves 3 questions. Should you buy The Evil Within 2? Yes, if you're a fan of the survival horror, you should. Is it worth the full price? It's kinda hard to say, it depends on your policy when it comes to time and money. I played the game for about 16 to 20 hours during my first playthrough, and I wasn't bored throughout the entire playthrough. So for me personally, yes. Can I play the game multiple times without being bored? Again, hard to say. The game offers a New Game Plus option, and I would imagine if you're one of those people who needs everything to be upgraded to the max, etc., this game will have a lot of replay value for you. Other than that, I don't think there's too much more to say really. If you want a video where we go more detailed about the story sections and what I like and what I dislike, there will of course be a lot of spoilers in that video, but if you want one, please tell me. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and thank you so much for watching.